Walk into any museum in the Pokémon world, and you'll see them. Towering skeletons of the ancient past. Behemoths that once ruled the earth. And then you take a look at your party. You look at your Rampardos, your Tyrantrum, your Aerodactyl. They're strong, sure, but they're no more than usual Pokémon. For years, we've been told that fossilization is a corrupting process, that the rock typing is a side effect of stone replacement. But what if that's a lie to cover up a much darker scientific truth? What if the Pokémon we've revived aren't actually finished? Today, we're uncovering the stunted giants theory, the terrifying possibility that every fossil Pokémon you've ever trained is a genetically imprisoned juvenile, trapped by the very air it breathes. To understand why your Tyrantrum is only 8 feet tall when its ancestors were claimed to be the unstoppable behemoths of their time, we have to look at real-world paleontology. Millions of years ago, Earth's atmosphere was radically different. During the Carboniferous and Mesozoic eras, oxygen levels were significantly higher than today, hitting upwards of 30% compared to our modern measly 21%. This is called atmospheric hyperoxia, a phenomenon where high-density oxygen fuels extreme biological growth. In the real world, this extra fuel allowed ancient life to grow to massive proportions because their metabolic systems were hypercharged by the oxygen density. In the Pokémon world, this was the secret to the apex stage. Ancient Pokémon didn't just evolve through experience, they evolved through resource saturation. Their bodies were designed to consume massive amounts of high-density energy and oxygen. This allowed them to reach a third, final evolutionary stage unknown to the modern world, their behemoth form, that modern biology simply cannot support. When a scientist puts a fossil into the revival machine, they aren't just bringing back a Pokémon, they're trying to run a high-performance engine on low-grade fuel. Modern air is far too thin for these ancient creatures. When a Cranidos evolves into a Rampardos in our current 21% oxygen world, it hits a metabolic ceiling. Its DNA wants it to keep growing. It wants to trigger that final apex evolution, but it can't. There isn't enough oxygen in the air or nutrient density in the modern diet to sustain the massive heart and lungs an apex giant would require. Essentially, every fossil Pokémon we revive is suffering from chronic biological stunting. Modern Pokémon are known to evolve into their third stage, but it's a known fact that every fossil Pokémon we've discovered so far can never reach that stage. But what if that third stage did exist? And what if they're just the bonsai trees of the Pokémon world, genetically capable of being giants, but physically restricted by the pot of the modern atmosphere? Is there proof? Look no further than Mega Aerodactyl. Its Pokédex entry in Ultra Sun is chilling. It has completely restored its genes. Some scholars claim that this is Aerodactyl's true appearance. Notice the difference? Mega Aerodactyl is far larger, covered in jagged stones, and significantly more vicious. And that viciousness isn't just personality. It's a metabolic frustration of a creature whose genes have finally been unlocked. Another piece of evidence is primal reversion. Primal Groudon and Kyogre aren't just buffed versions of themselves. They grow massively in size. Primal Kyogre nearly doubles in length. The game calls this taking back their true form by absorbing nature's energy. What is nature's energy? It's the resource-dense environment of the ancient world. When they absorb it, they're able to bypass the modern atmosphere and return to their apex state. But this theory isn't just about the fossils. If the resource trap is real, it explains one of the greatest mysteries in recently uncovered Pokémon history: the Alphas. In Pokémon Legends Arceus, the Hisui region is plagued by massive, aggressive Pokémon with glowing red eyes. For a while, we assumed this was just a frenzy caused by the space-time rift, and that may partially be true. But if we look closely at the science of the rift itself, it isn't just a hole in space, but a wound in time. What if the rifts were leaking more than just Pokémon? What if they were leaking that ancient atmosphere? Albeit on a smaller scale, when a modern Pokémon, like a Snorlax or a Luxray, is exposed to the ancient air bleeding through the rift, their sleeping genes awaken. They aren't evolving in the traditional sense. They're experiencing a metabolic surge. Their bodies suddenly have access to the hyperoxic fuel that hasn't existed at those levels for millions of years. And this explains their red eyes, a symptom of hyperoxygenated blood and a state of permanent metabolic overdrive. It explains their aggression. Their bodies are burning energy at a rate the modern body can't sustain, making them perpetually hungry and volatile. This is the Alpha Awakening. It proves that the blueprint for the Apex stage hasn't vanished, but gone dormant. Every Pokemon we see today, even the humble Bidoof, carries the genetic code to become a giant. They are all stunted, just like in our world. The Alphas are what happens when a modern Pokemon is accidentally given the high-grade fuel of the ancient past. It tells us that the extinction of the ancient giants wasn't a failure of their DNA. It was a failure of the planet to keep up with them. The giants didn't disappear because they were weak. They disappeared because they were too powerful for the thinning atmosphere of our modern Earth. The fossil Pokemon are living reminders of a world that was richer, denser, and more vibrant. We can bring back their bodies, but until we can fix the atmosphere they were built for, they will remain shadows of their true selves. For now, the mystery lies in how to revive them. But if we ever do restore the ancient past, would we be able to survive in a world ruled by true Apex Pokemon? So what did you think of today's theory? Obviously it's going to have to keep on evolving, just like these ancient Pokemon. But I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. If you liked this video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to this channel for more Pokemon theories just like this. But for now, this has been Ev, bringing the blaze back. And always remember to keep on blazing.